Hello, hello, gorgeous humans. I'm so glad that you're here with me. So lovely to see all your cute faces. Hi, Italy. Hi, Beth. Hi, Colette. Hi, Gail. Oh, precious humans, it's so good to see you all. Precious humans, it's so good to see you all. Um, it, well, I'm not even going to say excuse this setup because I don't give a fuck, honestly. Um, but I am in my bedroom today because we are getting roof repairs done. Look at us, flash internet millionaire who's going to have a roof that doesn't leak every time it rains. Don't be jealous, so posh. But yes, it's a little bit darker and less colourful behind me, but that's fine. Amanda Lee says luxury. Indeed, indeed. I am the height of luxury. So welcome, my friends, to this Ask Me Anything hour. As it says on the box, you're most welcome to ask me anything you fucking like. I'm here to answer your questions about life and business and creativity and marketing and all those things. And the way that we ask questions on my clause is if you just write question in the chat box and then I can go through them at speed or at pace and or very leisurely. And we're gonna nail this. We're gonna nail it. If I'm looking particularly glamorous today, thank you for noticing. It's because this morning, after a full-on month of sickness. So my youngest got sick, then my husband got sick, then I got sick, then my eldest got sick, and then my youngest got sick again and has been at home for the last week and a bit. Anyway, this morning we're like, let's just give it a go. Let's just see if she could go for the morning. And we did. She went for the morning, and me and my husband were like, oh my God, look at us. We've got time to talk to each other and spend time together without being interrupted a million times over. Like, height of luxury. And we went for we went to the river and we are going to just sit there and hang out for a couple of hours while we waited to pick the kids up again. And then my husband was like, do you want to hire a boat and teach me how to drive a boat? For those of you who are playing at home, that's what I did on my birthday last year. Is I was out by myself because Chris and my eldest were sick, and he was like, and I was like, I think I might go out on a boat by myself. So I learned how to drive a boat. They're really easy, guys. If you think like, wow, boats are hard, they're not. Like, they're the biggest idiots in the world can drive a boat. It is so much easier than driving a car. It's like easier than driving a Dodgem car, honestly. Like, highly recommend the experience. Great fun. So we went out posh on a boat for an hour together. Nice. All right, Fiona's got a question. Question and hello. Oh, good to see your name pop up again. It's been too long, my friend. Oh, you cutie voices. Do you use QR codes? I want to put one on my business card to direct people to my website. Anyone doing that experience? Whoa, good for you. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. No, I haven't done it. I don't even know if I have any business cards. I've never really used business cards as my way of advertising. But however, I know that you do kind of more local stuff, so it might be useful. Is it is it cheap to do it? Is it like, I guess if it's like cheap and easy, sure, I'll fucking knock one on there. If it means like a few more people go to your website, then not. Why not? Fun experiment. I think a lot more people are getting used to QR codes, especially here in Australia now, because we all have to use QR codes to like register our details whenever we go to a cafe or whatever. I don't know if they do that overseas, but here in Australia, as part of our COVID practice, is that if you go anywhere, they have a QR code like on the table, the cafe table or whatever, and you click it, and then it gives, you have to put your details in. So that way, that if anyone ever gets tested positive in that vicinity at that time, and was there at that time, they can track much more easily. So There you go. Everyone tell Joe Biden. Honestly, it's like a very small part of COVID control, but contact tracing is important. Jen says, morning all from Perth, Western Australia. Oh, yay, welcome from, it's still morning for you. Good morning, my love, good morning. Fiona says, I was thinking that it's easier for people to do and easier than grabbing their details at events. That's a really good idea, especially at events, is just to go, just register here. Like, this is how you do that. Sexy. Yeah, get those contact details. You get those contact details. Zeta, my assistant, says, I've used QR Monkey before and it was free. It was a short-term project, but it worked super well. Hot tip. Good one. QR code monkey. Okay. Anyone else got more questions? Otherwise, I'll just ramble and talk shit for the next hour, which I'm sure you will all love anyway and get so much value out of. I am groovy. Honestly, I'm fucking groovy. Getting out of social media has been really good for me, and I'm noticing as well that what I'm reading has changed so much because I'm now reading quality content. Now I now read blogs. I don't internet surf as much. I don't do the infinite scroll. So I read blogs, which are much more thoughtful and considerate and very creatively inspiring, and newspapers and magazines again. And oh my God, it's so great. It's very, yeah, I feel like my brain is reformatting in so many directions. And I know that this approach is going to inform my work and my creative life for a long time. Amanda Lee says, what painting is missing from behind you? Good question. There was something there, and then at some point I've thought, no, I'll change those around, and then I didn't. So welcome to somebody who has been diagnosed with ADHD. And that happened months ago. And the best part is having a partner who just doesn't give a fuck. Like, I can be as messy as I like, and my partner's like, whatever, like doesn't even think about it. If I leave like art supplies strewn throughout the house and we have to tiptoe over it, he's never said a word to me about it. He did actually say to me once, he said, well, I've decided that's it, no more paints on the veranda because you and the kids really get too messy and then we've got paint on there for life. And I said, are you fucking like ready to rip into him? And he was like, I'm joking. I know that that's grounds for divorce for you. Like, it was a joke. I was like, I love that he got that it was grounds for divorce. Like, don't you fucking tell me I can't be messy with paint. Don't you stifle my children's creativity. But he doesn't. He's great. What did I have there? In terms of the painting, I genuinely can't remember. I will, however, show you some paintings that are in our bedroom. This one is a massive photographic wall canvas of me and Chris on our wedding day. Oh, nice. I like it. This one is a photographic collage from Michelle Andrews, who I went to school with. And I've had it for, I don't know, a decade, and I just love it. I have a couple of paintings here. I think I was thinking about putting these above the bedroom. I've got two of these Tangerine Meg paintings that I had framed. Cost me an absolute fuck ton to get framed, but worth it because they're very pretty. And then this beautiful painting, which is by Janet Lloyd, from Proserpine and Coranda. I think she's back in Proserpine now, though. We did have like an engagement photo up in here, and I think I had the Klimt kiss painting above our bed. I think that's what was above there. Just some terrible photo canvas of it that we got from IKEA for $10 or something. But I haven't decided. I want something more colourful in here, preferably blue, but I also don't give a fuck. I'm not somebody who's ever going to be very interior designy, guys. I'll just, whatever, just whatever. Okay, more questions. More questions in the inbox. Fiona says, did you get a copy of my book in the mail? I did. Thank you so much, Fiona. It is in my to read pile. And, oh, I should show you. I bought this, messy as fuck, cool. But I now have a book cabinet right next to my bed. Live the dream. And so I migrate books so like I've got the to read bookcase, and then they start moving into here as it gets closer to reading. Very exciting. Okay, Dr. Mattia says, I started using Kajabi. My friend told me to use her SEO guy, and he sent me a quote of $2,000 to redo the site to a WordPress site, and then $2,000 per month for SEO. I was just thinking to use the templates in Kajabi and market myself through social media and email marketing to my clients. I wanted your opinion about just using Kajabi. Oh, good question. That SEO guy, I would say a strong no to that. $2,000 a month, get fucked. Get absolutely fucked. Get so far fucked, I cannot tell you. So it depends on what kind of business you're in. So tell me more, because there's some businesses that work better that need some certain level of SEO, but it does not have to be $2,000 a month worth of SEO. If you are a local business or have a very niche market where people are actively looking to purchase something. So for example, I have been trying to find plus size purple like kimono duster things, and nobody has done the SEO on their product sites well enough, so I could not find that shit for love nor money, so I had to go to recommendations instead, like social recommendations to see if I could find something through there, and I managed it finally. But that kind of thing, when somebody is searching a specific title to find your exact product to buy, that's kind of where SEO is important. And also when you have a local business, SEO is more important as well. Gail says, for all your social media channels, would you use your business logo or would you use your personal picture profile? It depends on what kind of business you own. If it is a business in which you are the figurehead and the main service provider, it needs to be your face. If it is a company that has multiple products or multiple services, I would be using the logo. Rianne says, you are off social media now, but you already have a huge following. When one is starting out with their first course, it seems that until I have a big list staying on social media, I'd love to do business without social media, but that seems to be where my best contacts are. Okay, so great question. And I think this is like at the top of everyone's minds, right? Like, how do we market without those things? Now, the thing to remember is I've always had a big list outside of social media. I didn't raise my profile because of social media. My social media numbers are larger because I have created so much free content and given it away. I've created so many good products over the years that people want to share about. I have done podcast interviews. I have blogged for X amount, since 2004. And so I've built it up over time. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that my success is due to social media. And when I look at the traffic, for me personally, it is 20% of my traffic comes from social media. And yeah, it takes up 80% of my time. And so that to me says I could be better spend that time that I'm spending 80% on at the moment. I'm just going to see if I can change my blue light filter. That's better. Yeah, I'm not going to get the big blue splotch in my glasses. So that to me says I'm better off spending my time outside of social media instead of spending 80% of my time to get 20% results. That's like Pareto's principle when it goes back the other way, when you're like, oh, that's a fucking time suck for me. Now, remember that there has been businesses building businesses and marketing since time began. And businesses haven't just started taking off because of social media. Social media is one way to market your business, but there are plenty of other ways out there. I will, of course, share the results of my experiments as I go along. And you know what, if I manage to totally fuck it up and be like, oh no, social media is actually critical for business success, I will absolutely tell you, but I genuinely don't think it is, and the traffic and the statistics back that up. So yeah, I'll just be carrying on creating content outside of social media. I'm sure some people will share it on social media, but I'm not spending my time there because I don't feel like that is where my best work is, like where I do my best work. Okay. Claudia says, you've trained your husband well. I thank you for thinking that I am that powerful, but I am really not that powerful. I am not. And thank you for thinking that he would ever do what somebody asked him to do. He is a rebel. He is a wild stallion. And if I ask him to do something, his first response is, don't tell me what to do. And you know what, guys? I find that very attractive. As somebody who is a very controlling, well, I'm not a controlling person, but I have a very dynamic personality that is quite persuasive, and I have a lot of opinions, and I'm very bossy. And then I have a husband who's like, your will is no match to mine. And I'm like, oh, I find that incredibly attractive, also annoying, but very attractive. Okay. Lonnie says, do you have a way of keeping track of the juicy tidbits and their sources that you want to remember from what you read and delete? Oh, okay. From what you read. So I've got a few ways of doing it. So I don't have a tried and true method, but I don't know, it's still working. So first, what I'm doing lately is I do scrapbook blog posts where I share all the different books and articles and stuff that I found really interesting and that I want to keep a record of. I also, when I'm reading my Kindle, I will highlight and send emails to myself from within that app of the quotes that I like from those books. And then I can use it in future blog posts and when I'm talking about that topic. What you can also do is if you're on a Kindle, you can share that quote onto Goodreads so that your Goodreads profile would have kind of it's got the list of all the books that you've read, and then it's got the quotes from those sections that you've personally saved. And of course, good old-fashioned pen and paper. I journal a lot as well. Oh, get some more water. Colette says, good evening from Maryland. I wondered if you could recommend a book or course of yours that would help in finding and deciding on an online business. There are so many and I'm a little overwhelmed. Thanks. That's a beautiful question. I don't have a course that really takes you through those options at this point. I used to have one, Double Your Business, but that was retired with the Academy. At some point, I will have a masterclass of different online business options, but not at this point. I think the most important thing to do is don't worry about getting it right from the beginning and just know that you can pivot. Just start something and start producing, start creating, and start testing out a whole bunch of different things, because honestly you don't know until you go there. So I've earned money in lots of different ways online over the years, from advertising like selling advertising on my blog, to doing live in-person retreats, to selling oracle card readings online, life coaching, business coaching. I have sold prints online, like art prints, custom commission artwork online. I even did like a custom commission run of artwork a couple of years ago. I've sold jewelry on Etsy. I have run a membership site. I have earned a decent amount of money from affiliate marketing. I have done network marketing. And I sell e-courses and meditation kits and books and ebooks and just all the fucking things. All the motherfucking things. Um, and it's totally groovy for you to like play and experiment and explore. But the most important thing is just to start by experimenting and play, and you only find out what you love doing and what's a great fit for your audience by actually doing the fucking thing. Like I would never, if I tried to think up this business model that I'm doing now, I would never have been able to do that in the beginning. You know, I had to go through all that learning experience first. Carolyn says, I'm bursting with creativity, writing ideas down, but thinking I should get some plates spinning well before I add more. Sensible or stifling? Not sure whether to steady the ship or fucking go for it all. You actually do need to steady the ship. Yeah, for sure. You need to like have ways that are out in the world, the things that are out in the world and making you money before you can go on to the next thing, because otherwise you're just going to really like crashing plates all over the place. So for me, I'm very multi-passionate. Clearly, I've done a lot of things, but I've only been able to do them one at a fucking time. One at a time. If you're wondering, like, is this some weird like candy experiment? Like, does Leonie keep lollies above her bed, or is this some kind of weird sex toy? The answer is yes, all of the above. No, they are earplugs because my youngest daughter has been snoring the last week, and she sleeps in our room, and me and my husband have been able to sleep until we just realized we could just use the earplugs that he uses while he's gardening on the mower. So yes, Caroline, I give you full permission to do it all, but only one at a time. Make money with the first thing first. Oh, okay. Dr. Mattia says that she has an aromatherapy online school, course material. I've got a separate Shopify site for my essential oils. They have to be separate for FDA rules. Yes, they do. You could go after a model where you do blog posts specifically answering essential oil aromatherapy questions. That's totally doable, and that's where you know where blogging could come in handy, and just reading a book about SEO, even just a small ebook. My friend Bridget Esselmont, who runs Biddy Tarot, she has millions of site visits every year, mostly from search engines. And I was like, how did you get so good at that? And she's like, I just read like a SEO ebook in like 2012, and it was like super basic principles, and I just instituted it on every blog post I wrote. And I was like, eh. So she's like the #1 tarot site in the world now, on that level. So that's really cool. Now, of course, with SEO, you can use it on Kajabi. WordPress does seem to rank a little bit more highly on there. However, before you're like, well, fuck, I have to move my whole website over to WordPress, you could just use WordPress just for the blog part. So have a think about that. Yeah. Or you could just go, actually, that's not really going to be my content marketing strategy. I'm going to go more after a lifestyle brand where people are referring other people to me, because of my personality. Like for me, I can do a bit of search engine optimization. However, my personality is so polarizing. that it's better for me to seek word of mouth referrals, because all the hippies will say to their crazy hippie friends, like, you should check out this crazy hippie. And they're like, yeah. Whereas, can you imagine if you found me and you were just a straight up basic bitch, who got offended really easily, and you accidentally landed up on one of my marketing pages, and I just was making jokes about donkey schlongs from like war to go, and you were like, who the fuck is this freak? And I'll be like, ta-da! Like, search engine optimization. Therefore, not the right target audience for me. But that's fine. Sometimes I'll get the stray hippies that are like in there, like, who is this love of my life? And I'm like, I'm here. But yes, word of mouth is better for me. Okay. Okay, Emma says, can you talk about your switch from Infusionsoft and Lead Pages to Kajabi? Do you have any email automation software? Yeah, sure. So I switched over from Infusionsoft and Lead Pages to Kajabi, and amazing. Infusionsoft is so fucking confusing and so fucking expensive and so fucking stupid, because you have to hire an Infusionsoft certified professional in order for you to even do half the shit that you need to do for your business. So I moved over, and it was a pretty simple switch, really. So you just export your customer database and you import it, and you might need to have a fiddle around to make sure that you've got things where you need to. But Kajabi Help is pretty good with that, and they do have import functionalities from different sites as well. And with Lead Pages, it was pretty easy just to like rebuild. I didn't have hugely complicated stuff set up already. So, and I figured like it's a good time to refresh, and because you need to go back through these things once they've been out for a couple of years. And you're like, oh, why am I talking about that bullshit? So that's how I did that. In terms of email automation software, I just use what Kajabi has, like, so with all my sequences and stuff like that, I set it up in Kajabi. And again, it was good to go through, pull out what we had in Infusionsoft, rewrite it, edit it, have a little refresh, and then pop it back in. Amber says, I'm finally ready to get focused on creating written content again. I would prefer to go for the faster, larger generator of passive income first. So should I write the book or bang out an e-course? E-course. If you'd like more money, then do an e-course. Definitely, 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 definitely. If you like money, because you can sell exactly the same content for 10 to 20 to 100 times the price of a book. A book price is fairly static. It's like, 10 to 20 bucks, 30 bucks if you want to go fucking wild. But nobody's selling a fucking e-course for $30, unless they're on Udemy, and that's their business model, which is great. But anyway, yes, bang out an e-course. Book is good, like later on down the track, especially as kind of a lead magnet, just to get people to know, like, and trust you, and reach potentially new people, get more people onto your mailing list. But books are not necessarily, like, if you want like a fatter business model, books aren't necessarily like the go-to for that, like the one and only thing you sell. Okay, Dr. Mattia says, membership site. Did you find moderating content? I'm considering just doing courses versus having a membership site. Okay, let me think about that. Zeta may have more input on this. In terms of moderating content, it's not a massive job. And like, unless shit hits the fan, and shit hits the fan maybe a couple of times a year. Shit hit the fan for us recently when I talked about my gender pronouns. Shit should have not hit the fan. Shit should have not hit the fan when I talked about my gender pronouns. But some people were in a time machine that was stuck back in 1950, and they were like, what? And I'm like, shut your goddamn mouth. Go read the post again where I said I'm not interested in your vintage fucking opinion. So anyway, but you know, I wasn't commenting back. My assistants were, so they could say things like kind of more nicely than me. Anyway, so fires do pop up a couple of times a year, especially if you're somebody like me who is very happy to talk about political stuff. So happy to talk about it. And then some bitches come out and they're like, I don't want to talk about politics. And I'm like, you voted for Trump. I can see you. Because they never want to talk about politics if they voted for Trump. Yeah, they just want to hide. Okay, I'm not going to go on this rant. What I'm trying to say is that fires, in terms of moderating, it's not something that's a daily thing, and you should absolutely have some really good rules around what people can and can't say. Now, in terms of courses versus membership site, you don't necessarily need to have a community aspect to your membership site. What you can do instead is go, you get access to these courses of mine for this amount of dollars per year. Okay, Nikki says, I am due for my first ever live radio interview about my not-for-profit business. I am bricking it. It's awesome but terrifying. Any advice? Yeah, so I've done it and it definitely does feel weird, right? But don't worry, they are complete professionals. It's sort of like having sex with a prostitute. Like, they know what to do. They will lead you by the hand through that experience. You know, like just give up any control, and like they will lubricate you. They will just make things happen for you. So just try and enjoy the process of being made love to by a true professional. You're great. You're great. And let me know how your prostitute goes later, if they were a real professional or not, you know. Claudia says, I describe you as a foul-mouthed fairy. I should put that in. Like, is that what people are? Do you think people are searching for foul-mouthed fairy business coach / online superstar? I'll try and register for those SEOs. Okay, Kari says, I'm interested in starting a blog as well as running e-courses. It feels like a lot at once. What's better to do first or prioritize? Run an e-course, sell an e-course, because then you have something to sell. So the difference is that a blog is a marketing tool, right? And people are always like, should I get the big following before I start running programs? And I say, hush, because a soap maker, as I always talk about, a soap maker is they're not going, you know what, I'll get a big following first and then I'll make some soap to sell. No, they're making some fucking soap right now, so you can just buy that fucking thing. So have a thing to sell, make a thing to sell, and then get on with your marketing in whatever way that you want that to be, whether that's a blog or a podcast or all of the other billions of ways that you can share something with the world. Colette says, in the new sales course starting next week, is that done in community or by ourselves? How is it organized? So we have a Kajabi community that will be running just for the 5 weeks of the course, because I want people to get in there and use the shit out of it and stay up to date with the course. But the way it's a course that's designed to go through by yourself. Most of it, like 95% of the content, all of the information that you need to know is all recorded. So you can go through it at your own time. Then there's one live Q&A call every single week, kind of like this, 1 hour, where you can ask me any questions that you have. And I will likely say, did you do this week's homework? Because that's what Ask Me Anything calls are like during other courses. They'll say, but what about this? And I'm like, somebody didn't watch this week's video, did they? But I'll do it with love, though. I'll do it with love. Yeah, so mostly it's an autodidactic kind of course. You're not going to like necessarily like have study buddies unless you want study buddies. And then then you find people in the community and go, who wants to study buddy with me? Okay, Rian says, I have a year's worth of teaching that would focus on 1 month at a time of a certain topic. I'm thinking that instead of making it a year-long course, making it 12 separate courses that you can buy individually or as a year for a better price. I'm relatively unknown. Would it be good to start with a free challenge, a low-cost mini course, or a simple version of the year-long material first? Great question. I would break it up into 12 separate courses and just start releasing them one by one. That's amazing. Nadee says, out of all the businesses you've run, what has been the most joyful? What's made the most money? And was there a correlation? Yeah, fucking absolutely. Total correlation. So, what ones did I really not like? Okay, so I definitely, when it comes, like, I love writing books for sure. But I don't love self-publishing books, and in terms of like, I love doing print on demand through something like Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing Service, where they print the books so people order and take the orders and then send out to everybody. And then they're the ones that gets to customer service emails, and they're the ones that have to like organize all the tracking and stuff. But that's amazing. Like 100% would do that. Um, but when it becomes more complicated, like, for example, when I printed books in China and had 3 distribution houses worldwide, and then had like 20 staff to try, like, and heaps and heaps of customer service staff to try and keep on top of all the emails. Hate that. Hate it so much because it's just, you're just managing people. And when you manage people, you're just managing people fires. Whereas I just want to like hide away in my office and make shit and talk shit. That's all I want to do. So it's definitely a better business model for me to just stick to self-publishing through print on demand. And I did try print, like going with a publishing house as well, but I'm such a control freak. And I like knowing my numbers. And there's like a real delay when it comes to knowing your true numbers through a publishing house. Instead, you're looking at, I don't know, a 6-month delay. Whereas if I'm self-publishing, it's usually that day I can see the data, and I get really like juiced up on that stuff. Still love it though. I still love writing books. I went into network marketing for a while, and that was like a really interesting experiment. And it was good to learn a business model. Like it really was. And I'm grateful for it for that part of my life. Is it something that I'll do for the rest of my life? Fuck no. Because I've got so much that I want to talk about, and so much that I want to create, and so much that I want to make happen. So I think I just like this business model where I make shit and then I sell it. And it's great. And I just do whatever the fuck I want all the time. Okay, Lindsay says, if you're not using social media for marketing, what's the best way to market? That's like saying like what road is the best way up the mountain? The road up the best way up the mountain is, who are you? What's your skill set? What is the thing that you absolutely love doing? And where are your people hanging out? Because there are a billion ways to market a business. And social media is just one very small tool out of that. Okay, Mim says, do you have any advice about managing boundaries in your student Facebook groups? I feel like I need to set better expectation when it comes to tagging me, expectations about me replying to questions. Maybe I need rules. Do you have them? Do I have rules? Of course I have fucking rules. Mama loves rules. So one, you have to tell people what to expect from you from this. So for me, for instance, I don't answer questions in Facebook groups because, and I never have, even when I was on social media, because it's an enormous time suck for me. And instead, what I offer is one open office hour call for all of my students. And that's once a month for 1 hour, and people can turn up and ask me whatever fucking questions they like. Then when I'm running live rounds of courses, I do one weekly call like that for that specific course and record it, and people can do it. People can also email in their questions to be answered on a call. That's it. Mostly the way that my Facebook groups are run is it's an opportunity for you to connect with other people going through the course. But in terms of me managing that community experience, man, I've got rules about what you can and can't talk about. I've got rules about how you can and can't behave, and I will absolutely fucking kick people out for that, or my assistant will. But um, yeah, that's it. And so I preemptively tell people this in my courses. There's rules in every Facebook group that I own, and we absolutely delete and ban people who aren't following those rules. And it's not just about rules; it's about boundaries. And one big thing that we say in our Facebook groups actually is if you have questions accessing your course, if you have issues with payment, if you've got issues with shipping, if you've got any customer support emails, you do not ask it in this Facebook group. Facebook group is not the place for that. Hush now. Support at leoniedawson.com. And my people are so well trained now is that if somebody asks a question like that in a Facebook group, there'll be another student that comes in and says, Leonie doesn't answer questions like that here, just email support at leoniedawson.com. So it's in the rules, it's everywhere we go. And if people ask questions, my assistant sees them, she immediately comments and says, you need to email support at leoniedawson.com in order to get a customer service email, because Facebook groups are not the place to get customer support. And the reason being, and we tell people why, the reason is that it's very easy for things to get lost in Facebook groups. And we do priority over the emails. We can guarantee that your email will be answered within 72 hours if it goes to my inbox. But if it goes to, I don't know, fucking Instagram DMs, or somebody decides to just comment on an Instagram post and go, oh, where's my package? And meanwhile, their name is like Wild Donkey Schlong. And you're like, that's nice, but who the fuck are you? And what's your order, man? Like, why? Email us. Email us. So, you can think about ways to support and service people, but it doesn't necessarily need to look like you working like a crazy donkey in order to make it happen and be 24/7 available for your humans. One thing I did as well when I was on social media is that for a long time I had two Facebook profiles, a private and a public, and like a work related one. And I would only join the Facebook groups with my work related Facebook account, because then I wasn't, like 1 minute talking shit with my friends late at night while we watch Farmer Wants a Wife together. And then, getting tagged in some, urgent message because someone's been an idiot and hasn't read an email. That would really harsh my mellow. So, yeah, that's one way of getting around it. Dr. Mattia says, how has your podcast affected your sales? Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a discernible one at this point. I wouldn't say it's a major part of my success at this point. It's mostly just people who already love me and they're like, whatever, I'll just hang out with Leonie more on a podcast. And I'm cool with that. But in terms like, is it making a huge amount of traffic? Not at this point. I'm sure it probably could, especially if I, put actual effort into it. And had some kind of, I don't know, marketing strategy and really thought about it. Okay, Carol Frazee, pronouns she, her. Thank you for sharing your pronouns. Are your children involved with your business? You seem to really know how to balance life, family, and business. Thank you. So my kids aren't really, well, so my kids are, one, I don't talk about them online anymore. Like I don't share pictures of them usually. And I try not to really share personal stories about them. I used to when they were younger, because all toddlers are cute and toddlers are basically, interchangeable. They're all the same, you know, they're all the same. But as I've gotten older, I've increasingly just tried to protect their story and who they are. And I definitely tell them about what I do, and they know about the workbooks and stuff like that. And sometimes, especially my eldest, she now likes to like give me some feedback about how things might be better with my books, or what I could think about including next, which is really fun and really cute. And both of my kids have said that when they grow up, they're just going to join my business. And they're like, well, that's probably what I'll do, Mum. Like, I could go get a job, but I think I might just like to do your business. And I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, I really have no attachment either way. In terms of like actual worky, they're not really involved on a daily basis because it's only for a couple of hours and it's while they're at school. And yeah, for me, I just like my value was I didn't want to work a full-time job once I become a mum. I wanted to be really present. So once I had kids, it was like, right, well, how do I make this thing earn money without it fucking crashing my nervous system and eating up all of my time, because my family needs me. Um, yeah, that's my top value. My top value is not the business. My family is the most important thing. And I do make this joke. So there's a guy, and I call him a bropreneur. He shared this photo once of like his first class seat on a plane, and he was like, if you want to know what it takes to fly at the pointy end of a plane, you know, you need to hustle 365 days a year, you know, 18 hours a day for years on end. And like, I never see my children, like they barely recognize me. And that's the kind of determination and hustle it takes to fly at the pointy end of the plane. And I just thought, you're a fucking idiot. You're an absolute tosser, because I can fly at the pointy end of the plane. And guess what? My kids know me. Like, they know me a little too well. They're probably like, get out of face, mum. Like, enough. And my kids fly out the pointy end of the plane with me. And they're like, this is nice. I'm like, yes. Will my children ever experience economy travel? I don't know. But I'm also not going to sacrifice my precious time with them, because it's irreplaceable. Amanda Lee says, have you abandoned your funnel research? I need an update. I have. I have abandoned it. I'm not saying that it's not a good thing to follow, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't be hugely useful, but I just found myself resenting it, and I didn't feel as creative and inspired and excited as I usually do when I'm making shit. So after, I don't know, 6 months of trying to force a square peg into a round hole, I thought, nah, fuck it. I might earn less money by not being strategic, but I'll probably just still have fun anyway. I've been wanting to do this all, like, the whole time since I've started playing with it. Oh God, it feels so bad. Oh my God. Oh, 0 out of 10. I don't recommend that. Like, 1 was manageable, but 2 was horrific. I'm glad you all turned up for this really professional internet talk with a internet millionaire, and that you're getting good information. Okay, Ali. Um, Ali. Is this? Yes. Okay. I bought both your course and your dollars course early last year, and then 2020 happened, and I didn't get through either. I'm now about to do the the sales course. I'm hoping the others will still be available to me will be available to me afterwards. Will you be doing live rounds of them all at all? 1, yes, you will absolutely have access to the courses for the rest of the time that I'm offering them. Totally fine, totally groovy, totally doable. And so they'll be available for years to come. And Yes, we'll do a live round of each course once a year, I think. That'll be fun. And so we'll have the year ahead of us. The live round isn't essential because you get all the information you need anyway, just with other recorded stuff. But um, but yeah, if you want the extra accountability of a live round, sure. Okay. Dr. Mattia says, I found you through YouTube. Oh, cute. I loved your videos, especially how to deal with overwhelm and the one where you're in a tree. Do you still focus on YouTube videos? Nah, not really. Like, well, I've never really focused on YouTube videos. I've always just focused on what do I want to make. Sometimes what is better expressed in a video. Sometimes it's better expressed in an ebook. Sometimes it's better expressed in a blog post. So yeah, there's still videos that come out from time to time, but I've never been somebody who's been particularly good at staying up to date. I'm trying to look like a unicorn, but I wonder if it just makes me look like I've got a tiny little penis on the top of my head. Tiny little Aussie, oi, 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 penis on the top of my head. Kelly says, sorry, I have to go on school pickup. Fun listening. I'm glad you found it fun. I'm glad it was useful for you. Emma says, I love that your kids fly the pointy end. Mine do too. Sponsor, right? It's actually just quite nice. For those who are wondering what it's like to fly at the pointy end, it's how flying should be. It's actually just kind of, it's like the rest of life. It's just quite nice and luxurious, and economy is just actually a hellhole. It's actually a hellhole. Now, having said that, I don't travel very much. So last time we were on a plane was probably 4 years ago, maybe. And we will again at some point, but we also like going on road trips in the car. Lindsay says, do you sell the courses without live rounds for the same price? Yeah, fuck yeah, I do. Fuck yeah. A live round is just extra impetus for somebody to sign up by a certain date. They still get all the recordings from previous live rounds and stuff, but yeah, and then they just get, for my people, and other people do it differently, is they get free alumni access for the rest of the lifetime of the course. Some people have it that it's you have to pay for the yearly updates to the course or whatever if you want to maintain access. Like they'll bring out another version. But I find that kind of fucking annoying and irritating. So yeah, it's like I bought Jeff Walker's product launch formula one year, and I was like, whoa, yeah, got it. And then 6 months later, he's like, and if you'd like to spend an extra $500 to upgrade to this year's one, and I'm like, fuck, fuck. But sure, it's a business model. Like, go for it. He can do that if he wants. Jamie says, is this just a bonus Q&A, or did the dates for the first Wednesday of the month change? Yeah, it's just a bonus Q&A. It's just me to talk shit with absolutely everybody from my list, whether they're a customer or not, a client or not. And we will have our usual open office hour for all courses next week as well. So you can just enjoy the extra saturation of Leonie into your life. She says, woot, woot, thank you. All right, pick my brain, guys. You've got 7 minutes left. What are the questions that you have always been dying to ask me? And all those things. What are you struggling with right now? What are you wanting to do right now? Jamie says, I enjoy my Leonie time. Babes, I enjoy my Jamie time. I like hanging out with you all. And for those who haven't been on live Q&A calls before, the best part of this is that I usually start to recognize a lot of you because there's a lot of you that were in my Get Shit Done Club and my Go Getter Mastermind, so I got to see you every single week. And then there's people that show up every single month as well and ask amazing questions. And so it's really nice if you can, once you've a core, like have joined any of my courses, then you'll get access to my monthly open office hours, and just like forms like a really nice community. Um, Amanda Lee says, are you using Clubhouse at all? Um, no, because I like to make money and not waste all of my fucking time. So what you're asking me is like, Leonie, did you want yet another platform to spend even more of your one precious wild life with, knowing that you already spend far too much time online for probably negligible benefit that you could do in like, I don't know, 1/10 of the time if you weren't on Clubhouse? Then correct, I'm fucking not on Clubhouse. Sure, it's going to be great for some people, but it's not fucking going to be me. Tash Corbin. Oh, hello, my darling. Oh, so good to have you here. I don't know what's been asked yet, but have you picked your next 21-day challenge? No, I haven't, but I have been thinking about it. Oh my God, I've only got like 2 days left to choose it. What am I going to do? It's going to be something completely life-changing like this last one has. It might be maybe a no spend challenge because I've bought a lot of stuff on the internet lately and I probably need to calm down. Or maybe I'll do like Artist Way methodology. That might be fun. Yeah, maybe something like that. The D says, are you still thinking you won't go back to social media ever? Correct. That fills me with so much joy. I'll let you know the results of the experiment. And you know what? If I fuck it all up and I have to come back with tail between my legs in 3 months' time, so be it. But guess what? It ain't going to happen. Karen says, you have done so many things. How do you stay focused? I like doing lots of different things, but nothing gets finished. So the magic of this is you have to understand the energy cycles of projects. And the energy cycle of a project is when you get the idea for something, you get a whole big bunch of energy for it, right? And you're like, whoa, I love the idea of this. Let's do this. And then once you're like, done like maybe 20%, you're like, I hate this now. This sucks. I want something else. And I don't want to finish this. This is hard. Yuck. Ew. Ew. No, thank you. Um, so what you have to recognize is that the energy, like the next energy uplift is when you actually complete the product. So until you complete the product, you just have to like bear down like a birthing mum and go, this is fucking hard work, but this is what it takes to birth something into the world. Even when there's resistance, even when it's hard, even when the energy has left you, you're like, I'm still gonna do this thing. And guess what? You become bigger and braver and smarter and bolder and an even more delicious version of yourself when you do those things. I am a more powerful person because I have birthed so many creations into the world. So the joy is when you complete something, then you get that fucking energy burst, and then you can go on to the next thing. And you have even more energy to carry through that project. So I think Magda Pixenier, she did Ask Moxie for years, a very popular parenting blogger. She was like, oh, I get it. That's why the wild donkey technique works, is because it shortens that product creation cycle, and it gives you that little dopamine hit that carries you forth into creating even more things. So it's kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you finish, the more you create. The more you finish, the more you create. Emma says, where do we find the replays to this call? We will send out an email and there'll be YouTube videos. Dr. Mattia says, tips on writing copy that connects with people. I got some templates or scripts to use, not sure if I will use. Okay, so the first thing is to write down like, who are your people before they come to your product? Like, what are they struggling with? How are they feeling? What are their problems? What are their challenges? And then how is your thing going to fix that? And you always have to think about the fact, there's this old marketing saying that every one of your customers is listening to one radio channel, and that's WIFM, WIIFM. What's in it for me? They don't give a fuck about you and your passions. What they give a fuck about is how you can help them. And you need to infuse that understanding in every single piece of writing that you do. Rianne says, you've given so much for free. What is your suggestion for giving out free content? Do it. Create it. Make it. Just put it out in the world. Like, even if it's just like one thing a month that might help someone. One thing a year that might help someone. What's something that would really help your people right now? Just make that. Wild donkey it. Get it done ASAP. Put it out in the world. For those of you who don't know what I mean when I say wild donkey, if you Google Leonie Dawson wild donkey, you can get my free ebook which explains it all. It's kind of this creative strategy I came up with 10 years ago or more. I hand wrote it when my 11-year-old was a tiny baby, and there's like chew marks where she like chewed shit and then smeared it, and it's fucking adorable. It's one of the best things I've ever created. Okay. Colette says, question from a friend, would a children's ebook work versus a regular book? Yes, there is somewhat of a market for it, and I've definitely seen a lot of people selling. However, if you're going to do the ebook, you might as well just put it on Kindle Direct Publishing Service as well, so that you can do a paperback version as well. It's no cost. And that way, if people, you've gone to all the effort of creating the book, if you have it in a format that people will buy, then that's awesome. The only thing for me personally, even though I read a lot of Kindles myself, Kindle ebooks, is that with my kids, we don't use ebooks. Not because we give, it's not really necessarily about screen time. It is a little bit because I don't like the light of the iPad in their eyes at nighttime, which is when we usually read. But secondly is that my kids, when they're reading, they're still at the point where they want to run their fingers over stuff, and you can't do that on an ebook because it moves the pages. So that's the tricky parts when it comes. That's why I always get the print books when it comes to my kids. Leslie says, how do you establish boundaries and not feel guilty saying no to the demands of others, like work, family, or friends? I don't feel guilty, because why would I feel guilty? Like, I'm saying no because that's not doable for me. No, I can't do that. And sometimes, like, especially when you've got energetic hooks about it, it's more challenging. Like when my family of creation wants something, it's sometimes can feel really hard to say no, but I have to think about what my number one priorities are. So for me, my priorities are ... my number one focus is I actually have to take care of myself, like my personal self, my physical health, my emotional health. Because if I don't, there's a whole bunch of things that rely on me that are going to go to shit. They're just going to go to shit. So if I don't take care of this, I actually can't parent in the way that I want to parent, and I can't, be a partner in the way that I want to partner. And I also can't do my business. Like, there's a cost to absolutely everything I do. And I have to make my inner peace and my contentment and not being burnt out my number one priority, because if I burn out, things are fucked, and they're fucked for my business, and they're fucked for my family, and they're fucked for me for quite a long time. So if the school wants me to do something and I don't want to do it or can't do it, or it's not in my wheelhouse, my answer has to be no, I can't. Like, no, it's just no. The answer is no. The reason being is if I choose that, then I'm having to put that as a higher priority than my mental health, my physical health, and not burning out. And if I fuck it up, it's a real delicate balance and it just goes to shit so easily. So I don't necessarily have issues with saying no to stuff because I need this to keep going in order to keep going, if that makes sense. Jamie says, I've bought a shit ton of art supplies and adult coloring books lately, taking a deep dive. Any suggestions where to start and what's your favorite mediums? I'm so glad you've done it. And now the most important thing is to fuck some shit up and make some messes and just make absolute disasters so that you don't feel like you have to get it perfect or pretty. Like, I just want you to like make a goddamn mess. I want you to do some fingerprinting, babes. I want you to like color your first page in using your non-dominant hand and like a way too fat crayon. So it's just like, oh my God, wait, I designed myself a new t-shirt. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God, guys. Just came in the mail today. Let me get it out. Oh my motherfuckers, yes. Oh, it says magnificent freaking unicorn. But the best part is, and I really like it, is that I intentionally did it in Procreate using this kind of the chalk pen in Procreate, which is kind of messy, and so it goes outside the lines of everything, and it's not perfect, and it's not polished. It's and I intentionally created these spaces so I didn't color it in properly, and I think I should do it like I think that's a bit too polished still. Like I need to get it messier. So messier is better. Oh, and if you want a chance to win a t-shirt like that, I'm going to have one limited edition t-shirt available for an affiliate to win sometime. So make sure you've signed up to my affiliate program so you can win free shit from me. leoniedawson.com/affiliates. Yes. Okay. Tash says, I vote orgasms. That's a good one too. The only tricky part is I just need to work out when my periods are going to be and then like, sculpt it in or shorten it because my cycle has changed, guys. Has anyone noticed this? So I am 38 now and my cycle has gone from being a good like 30, 32 day cycle at least to being 21-day cycle now. So for 5 days out of 21 days at least I am bleeding and I'm like, this sucks. So I've got like 2 weeks on, 1 week off. Like, how dat? Like, bring on menopause. Bring on to menopause. So it may have to be like a 14-day orgasm. And look, truth be told, it wouldn't be that much of a challenge, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not really going to be a departure from reality, if you know what I mean. Okay. Linda says, what's the organization that you have put in place that supports your most freedom and flexibility in your work? Ooh, I think just journaling every single day has been hugely useful, and it's kind of turned into more, I don't know, almost a bullet journal, but like with less cum all over the cover because you just like wanked all over it. Like, I'm a bujo now. I'm a bujo wanker now. Like it's less no, I don't know, like the whole bullet journal thing like makes me like, it's like, I don't know, clearly people are very addicted because it's great, guys. However, I do feel like a wanker when I talk about bullet journaling. So it's kind of become a bullet journal because I do my to-do list in there as well. And oh my God, why is there a blood stain on my, what have I done there? It's not a blood stain, like a bleeding blood stain on my bed sheet, but like, I don't know, that I've cut somewhere. whatever. It's something's happened. You know what it is, like when there's just fucking blood stains. You're like, how did you get there? Okay. So I have I do my to-do list in there, and then I have at the back of my book, maybe I should do a blog post about this. Would that be useful if I did a blog post and then showed you the pages of how I'm working at it? So I have this running to-do list at the back of my journal, and then each week when I go through of what I want to do, I'd highlight or do a star beside the shit that I should try and really get done that week. And then I just carry the journal around with me everywhere, including if we go in the car, I'll take it with me. So it is a smaller size journal, a bit like this sized. I don't know, head sized? It's difficult to know. It is, I think they're called A5 size journals. And I like the hardcover ones. So Zeta got me the journal I'm currently using from Quirky Cup Collective, and they're beautiful. And I was tossing up whether to get another one of those, but I've gone through it pretty quickly. So I decided to get a extended Moleskine, which has got 400 pages in it, and see if I love that one more. So anyway, whatever. It doesn't really fucking matter. Use any fucking book you've got. Okay. Anyway, that just trying to keep priorities of what's important for me to do, and then also keep them beside me when I'm on my computer so I don't get distracted by the latest shiny object on the internet. Really important. Ali says, I read Digital Minimalism today at your behest. It blew my mind. Thanks. Oh my God, how fucking good is it? How fucking good is it? It is life-changing. And Ali, if you love that one, try How to Break Up with Your Phone by Catherine Price. You're going to need to laminate it first, though, because you will come all over it because it is that good. It is that good. Laminate it so it's wipe dry, and then carry on. Oh, that's really cute. Zeta, my assistant, pronoun she, her, said, if your question isn't answered today, send it to support@leoniedawson.com and I'll add it to the open office hour question list, which is available to people who have a Leonie course membership. Champion. Champion. Amanda Lee, who is the queen of everything, has included the link for my Wild Donkey ebook as well. Nadine says, oh, I forgot about the Wild Donkey. I love that. Oh my God, you know what I could do? I could do a t-shirt that says ride your Wild Donkey. And nobody else will know what it means except for you and me. And we'll be in this secret fan club. Lindsay says, do you have any paid advertising? What about Google ads? Okay, so people do businesses in all different kinds of ways, and you have to experiment to see what works for you, what works for your business, and what works for your clientele. For me, personally, I found that paid advertising is a massive fucking waste of time. And it would probably be more effective as a marketing strategy if I just took out a whole lot of cash out into my backyard and put it on a bonfire and then used a blanket to try and create smoke signals to market my business through smoke signals. I would probably waste less money that way and get more results. That's how I feel about that. But again, there's a lot of people who use paid advertising and that's amazing and they get really good results. And I'm so happy for them. It's just not my jam. Okay. Jamie says, I've been loving watercolors and just, they felt magnificent, the swatching of them. I know watercolors, fucking scrumptious. Also, there's some really beautiful courses on creativebug.com. That's been my favorite place for creative art tutorials. And I like that you just can, you get it's a membership. I think it's maybe $7 a month or whatever. And you get access to all of their courses through there. It's great. It's great. Allison said, I'm ready to just launch. I know I'm going to get vulnerable as fuck, but I also trust myself to manage whatever happens because I feel like my message is bigger than my fear that my nervous system will be like, what? Any of your favorite recovery tools for settling your nervous system? Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing, like launching, it's the very, very beginning of it, and you're going to have a lifetime ahead of you to get used to it and to change it up and to see what works, see what doesn't, experiment and play. This is really just beginning your experimentation and your play process. Now, in terms of when you do launch and you're like, oh my God. So, of course, you want to have self-care. You want to have downtime. You want to have non-work times built in, where you're not just like furiously checking for emails or messages or whatever, um, and being open to the world. You still want to have your nice routine and remember that no matter what you do, your life is still the same on the inside. You know, you're still going to drink a nice cup of tea and um, sit down at the end of the day and read another trashy Bridgerton book because we've got good life choices. And you're going to take extra special care of yourself. So you're going to have a beautiful bath with some magnesium, like Epsom salts. You're going to take your multivitamins. You are going to, if you've got a weighted blanket, you want to have a weighted blanket. I just bought this one from, what's its website? From calmingblanket.com.au, and it's one of those knitted ones. And the rest of the ones that I have are all just like normal cotton ones, but this feels even more luxurious. And do you know why? Because you can poke your little toes and fingers through it. This is 9 kilos. Feels amazing. Highly recommend the experience. For me, as somebody who is highly sensitive, who has autism and sensory processing stuff and feels overstimulated, has a nervous system, anxious nervous system, weighted blankets are critical part of the puzzle. Yeah, so self-care, essential oils, all of your self-care tools, and just know that it's just another step in your journey, and it's the right step to take. Oh, Mim says that it could be the estrogen boost before perimenopause when you get them close together. Funsies. Fun. Amanda Lee says that can mean your estrogen's a little too high or your progesterone is too low. Cool. I'm like, honestly, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, it served its purpose. Like, I spouted out some babies. I'm spayed. Who gives a fuck? Roll on menopause, I say. Amber says the exact same thing happened to me with the 21-day bleeding. Yeah, and like it's also a tricky one because then you have to go get checked for like make sure it's not like ovarian cancer and stuff. So I had to get a wand ultrasound, which was nowhere near as fun as I thought it was going to be. Like it just wasn't. Disappointing. Like couldn't they just do a girl a favor and like I don't know, put a little bit of a vibration on it? Like just I'd give them a better review on ultrasoundreview.com if they just made it a bit more enjoyable. Fuck. Lindsay Smith says, I'm offering live classes in online yoga courses, but noticing not many show up for the live. So I'm just thinking, is it worth offering the live? Just make the class and make it a pre-recorded course. That sounds like a great idea. Test it. See what works. Tracy says, hi Leonie, have you always been so unabashedly expressively yourself? Yes. Yes. Okay, so no, I think. So when I was a kid, right up to probably high school, I very much was really shy and very introverted and unable to communicate with people outside of my siblings and my parents. And then that slowly changed over time. And I also just had kind of a realization when I was maybe 14 or so that everybody was trying to act cool in order to to be cool and to be seen as cool. But even like when they succeeded, they weren't having fun. And then I was like, oh, so I could try to be something I'm not. And even if I succeed, it's still not going to be fun. Or I could just keep being myself and have like the most fun ever. Um, some people really like that. Some people will think I am bonkers, and it won't really matter either way because I'll just be having fun. So that's what I did. So things just got progressively wilder ever since, truth be told. Also, like one of my darling friends from high school, he said to me, I don't know, when we were in our 20s, he's like, Leonie, please just promise me you'll never change. Like, I just don't want you to lose your craziness. And I was like, why would you think that's possible? Why would you even think that? He's like, I just don't want life to like make you normal. I'm like, oh God, no, this shit's just getting weirder, boo. Like it's just getting more and more off the rails. So I don't know, it seems like a very logical decision. Should I unabashedly express myself knowing that one, I'll have the best time with myself ever, and no matter what, I unconditionally love and accept myself, and also I'm my own best friend, so great, like good times. Um, or will I pretend to be something that I'm not and be completely fucking miserable and feel alone my whole life? And even when people love me, I'll feel imposter syndrome because I'm not sure if it's because they love me or the role that I've been playing. So I don't know. It's just very logical, guys. Be yourself because it's more fun. And yes, some people do think I'm totally weird. And guess what? They've got terrible taste in people and I have no interest in them. Okay. Dr. Mattia says, I love How to Break Up with Your Phone. The open letter at the start is the best. Oh my God. I read that open letter at the beginning and I was just like, it's me. Oh my God, she just wrote the words of my soul. Ali says, I have How to Break Up with Your Phone on order, lamination, ahoy. Good work. Good work, team. Mim says the weighted blankie looks so much nicer than mine from Catch Want. I mean, who cares really as long as it's weighted, but this is definitely a little bit of extra special. It was pricey though, but I think it was $300 or something. And then I was like, fuck, it's a bit pricey. But then I'm like, yeah, but if, I'm going to have it for years to come, it's like, will stop me needing so many therapy sessions or other modes of me trying to sort my shit out. And if it means that I can work like one day more than if I was a frazzled fucking mess, then it's worth the investment. Jessica says, I know you've spoken to this before, but could you talk a little bit imposter syndrome and do you still experience it? I don't think I've ever really experienced it because I just have a grasp on reality in terms of knowing who I am, doing my best and loving myself anyway. I don't know. I'm interested to know if everybody who has ASD has imposter syndrome or not, because I just think imposter syndrome is a very illogical thing. And I think imposter syndrome is just the voice of white supremacy and the patriarchy and capitalism that we've inverted into our heads, right? I really don't think it's the voice that God gave us. I don't think it's our soul's voice. Imposter syndrome, that makes no sense. Why would God give us this? Like, God as in lowercase God. I don't like any like higher deity. Why would they give us this? And then make us want to question ourselves. Animals don't just like sit around questioning ourselves constantly. So it just doesn't seem like a rational or good use of time. Okay. Jamie says, have you ever considered doing an art or art journaling type course? Maybe. We're probably not, truth be told, at this point in time, because yeah, there's just more projects. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I've done some before when I was in the academy. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know what happens next. Maybe. Maybe. All right. This has been fun. I'm going to finish up here. I just want you all to know that I think you are phenomenal and glorious humans, and fuck imposter syndrome, because it's a patriarchy, it's the white supremacy, it's a capitalism at work, and we need none of that. It is not the soul's voice. It's not God's voice. It is not our divine spirit inside you. So to that we say no. No to that bullshit. And we just carry on being the magnificent motherfuckers we are. Shining our light bright, doing our magic thing, being our own best friends, and having a fucking great time. Because I think that's what we were born for. Truly. Makes the most sense, right? Right. That's it. The end. Goodbye forever. No, I'll talk to you all next week. I love you. Again, bye.